All right, we'd like to welcome Patrick Cantlay to the interview room here at the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday. Patrick, thanks for joining us. You've been here a number of times, two-time winner in 19 and 21. You must have pretty good vibes when you come back to this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. It's a course I enjoy. I've played well here, which is always nice to come back to a place that you've had success. And the course looks like it's going to be in really good shape. It should be a hard test. No rain this week, which usually we do get some rain this week. So the course should play firm and fast. It should be a great challenge.
You're an 8-time winner. I got it right this time. Looking for the first victory this season, though. But you've had a heck of a consistent season. What do you feel like you need to do to maybe get over that line to win? But what has also been the reason for that consistency?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've done a lot of good in my golf game this year. You know, a lot of parts of my game feel really solid. Just need to have a week where it all kind of matches up and have an above-average week in a couple different categories. And that's usually what it takes to win, and sometimes wins can come in bunches, so hopefully that's the case.
And just most of the guys are saying that the course is pretty firm out there, and it's probably going to get firmer given when it doesn't look like there's any rain in the forecast. And typically, we get a bit of rain here and it usually gets soft. How will that make this golf course different for you this week?
Yeah, just a premium on playing from the fairway, and probably we'll have to be a little more conservative coming into some of the greens. A lot of times there's some hole locations you can get when it's soft, and you can spin the golf ball back and feed it to the hole locations. But this week I imagine it's going to be a lot of taking your medicine and trying to make some putts from the middle of the greens.
Okay, we'll take some questions. We'll start with Rob in the front, and then we'll go back to Dan on the end here.
You say you like this course, and we hear that all the time, different guys talking about courses. Is it sort of a chicken-egg thing in terms of you play well here, so you like the course, or you like the course, so you play well here? Can you talk that through in terms of this place specifically, what it is?
Yeah, I don't think so at all. There's golf courses I don't like that I've played really well on, and there's golf courses I like that I haven't played that well. This is a golf course that, it's always in really good shape, and it demands you to hit the ball in the fairway off the tee, and it gives you some scoring opportunities with the par fives. So it's just a golf course that I've liked since I came on property the first time a number of years ago, and just happened to have also played really well around here.
Dan, go ahead.
We're in kind of it's on now. We're in kind of the meaty part of the season here. There's been a bunch of designated events. We're through 2 majors, still 2 more to go. I know this is kind of a pilot year for this schedule. How do you feel like it's going cadence-wise?
Yeah, it seems like it's probably been a little busier, which is to be expected. But in a weird way, the summer's going to calm down a little bit, especially right around that British Open, both before and after. So I feel like there's a lot of golf, has been a lot of golf this spring, and there'll be another stretch like the next month will be a lot of golf, but then a little calm before the playoffs, and then a race to the finish.
Anything in the front? Doug? One second, we'll just get you the mic. Sorry.
Have you played today? Did you go on the course?
I played the front 9.
And see the back 9?
Yeah, I haven't, not yet this week.
Question number 1. Apparently you're going to love 16. Kind of to that point, with the PGA just a week and a half ago, does it feel like you got one major on top of the other?
I wouldn't say. I mean, I feel like, you mean like this week being a major?
No, just this is a big tournament, I get, but just the fact that we just got done with the major and we got another one staring us right in the face.
I feel like that's just kind of how it's been the last couple of years. It feels like there's been players and then a major every month this time of year. So yeah, I mean they're definitely closer than they have been in the past, but that's just how it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay, are you doing the Scottish?
Maybe, not positive yet.
Undecided. Okay, I had another one.
Let's run that mic up to the back to Matt. And if anybody else has a question, we'll bring it back down here. Go ahead, Matt.
Patrick, just wondering how the chemistry has been developing with Joey on the bag, and then a week like this where you've both had so much success at a place like this, I'm wondering what he can bring.
Yeah, it's been good so far. Obviously, he's a pro and has seen all the places before. Not like I have a rookie guy out or anything. He's caddied for a number of great players. So that's been good. And, yeah, I'm sure he's had a bunch of good weeks around here, and so have I. So it should be a good week.
Anything you're feeling different out on the course? Is there a different vibe between you two, or just kind of more the same?
No, just the same. I mean, it'll take a little time for us both to get into full-on routines and feel totally comfortable. We've only had, a couple tournaments this year together, so I'm sure that'll improve with time.
We'll come back to Rob on the right.
Yeah, John Rahm was in here earlier talking about the whole slow play issue. He says he thinks it's overblown. I'm just curious if you agree with that. And he also commented on rangefinders, that he thought those could be helpful when you get offline. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, rangefinders could help you get a number if you're really far offline. In general, I feel like the caddies do a pretty darn good job of being able to get the numbers from just about anywhere.
Is slow play an issue out here, or not really?
I mean, it seems like everyone seems to think it is lately. Although, like I've said, since I started getting asked about it, times on tour have been basically the same. Round times have been the same on tour for the last decade or more. So if they keep making the golf courses longer and they keep making the greens really fast and firm, it's going to take longer to play.
Thank you.
And we'll go back to Doug behind you. Thanks.
And two things, and I apologize if you've answered the first one in the last couple of months, but do you have a position on the cut for elevated fins going forward next year? Yes or no? What do you think either way?
Yeah, I think there's, with it being a limited field, I don't think it makes sense to have a cut. And I think there's real power in knowing that the best players are going to be there all 4 days no matter what.
The second thing, U.S. Open. What's your history at LACC in terms of being invited? You do know people there, I think. Do you or no? Yeah,
in college we played a number of times at LA, and I've probably played it a few dozen times. It's a golf course I've played a lot. I saw that I played it in December and saw that the USGA is going to set it up quite different than how it plays, week to week for the members. And they've done a lot of work to it since it opened, because it opened right basically when I was like a freshman in college. So they've added a number of tees and tweaked a few things out there since it opened. So, I mean, I've heard some guys say that they think it's going to play really easy. I don't think it will.
Did you some of these changes in USGA fingerprints on this, are these, in your opinion, good things, or did they screw it up?
Well, I'll wait until I see the course tournament week before I make a determination.
Can I go with my own answer on that?
We'll go to Adam and then back to Rob again.
Why do you think it's not going to play too easy?
I mean, usually that time of year, there's hardly any rain, so they can get it as firm as they'd like. And with some of the new tee boxes, if they want to play all the back tee boxes, it can play like a monster. I think the 16th hole can play at like 540, and 17 and 18 are both over 500 yards. They're all par fours, and they can have a couple par threes play at 290 if they want. So I think there's only 2 par fives. So it can play, there's just not a ton of scoring opportunities with 1 drivable hole and 2 par fives. That I don't think it'll play, I think it'll play close to par.
As someone who likely could be on the Ryder Cup team, how do you feel about the potential of LIV players being chosen?
I just want the best 12 Americans on the team. I don't think the U.S. has won a Ryder Cup over there since '93, and so I'm looking to change that.
Adam, can you send that to Rob, and then we'll go back to Dan behind him.
You've won twice here. I don't know how well you know Jack Nicklaus, but what you do know off the course, how would you describe him, the guy you know?
He's a very kind man. He is always open to sharing advice if you ask him, and he's always been very approachable. And, he's been great to me over the years. I met him for the first time when I won the Jack Nicklaus Award in 2011, I believe. And he was, super kind to me then, and is still that same way when I saw him yesterday.
Dan?
The guy Brooks Koepka, who won the last major, I think he's won 5 majors and like 9 tournaments total. And he said that he thinks that majors are kind of the only way that he's going to be remembered, and that's what he focuses on. You've had kind of the opposite, where you've won 8 times, but you haven't won a major yet. How do you feel when you hear someone say that kind of majors are the gold standard and majors are what matter?
Yeah, fortunately, my career's not over yet.
Anything else with Patrick? On MK?
You mentioned winning the Jack Nicklaus Award, and I'm just curious for you as a player at the collegiate level, what did that mean to you?
Yeah, it was obviously a tremendous honor, and it was very cool to come here. I'd never been on site before, obviously, and I had a U.S. Open qualifier around the corner. And so coming here to accept the award was still really, like shock and awe, because I hadn't played in a tour event yet, and I was here and I got a feel for it, and then being able to win the award, it meant a lot.
Let's do a couple more, Doug and Adam.
I wanted to go back to the U.S. Open just for a second, because I know we've been at Riv for the LA Open forever, but the idea of a major championship and what effectively is Beverly Hills, does that seem weird to you? And how do you think the week's going to go? Probably no different for you, but just overall.
I don't think it's weird. Definitely when you're on property, you don't feel like you're in Beverly Hills. You have to kind of look up, and the property's so big, and that you almost have to look up to see the buildings to remind yourself that you're in Beverly Hills. It doesn't feel anything like being in Beverly Hills when you're on the golf course. So I think it could be a great site for a U.S. Open, but there may be some traffic.
Do you spend much time in Beverly Hills?
I don't. Just Westwood was close to there, and I spent a couple years at UCLA, which is right next door.
And did you ever, the times playing, whether you were in school or not, get caught using your cell phone where you shouldn't?
No, I was never caught.
Go Adam and then Bob. Wrap it up.
Going back off to what Dan was asking you about the majors, what would you say is your level of frustration with your performance in them to date?
I wouldn't say frustration. I just need to keep getting enough bites at the apple, and I imagine that I'll win my fair share.
Can you hand that to Bob, please, Adam? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just for this season, obviously, a lot of good results. Been up there a lot. No wins though. So how do you view it? Do you pleased with your game, and just a win's going to happen, or do you get down, or maybe frustrated because you haven't been able to get over the line?
No, I think my game's in a really solid spot, and this game, sometimes the wins come in bunches. I've had years like that where I haven't had, the year where I won 4 times, I hadn't won in the calendar year until this week, and then I won 3 times that summer. So if I just keep putting myself in the right spot and keep working hard on my game, the win should come.
All right. One more.
Sorry, you're not going anywhere, right?
Microphone.
You have to be somewhere?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
I'm sorry, but when it comes to not winning, which is obviously a lot for a golfer, how long does it take you? Is even keel that you take the game? How long does it take you to digest and move on? Does it matter if it was a solid week of say 5th, or you lost in a playoff type thing?
Yeah, for me, it's frustrating anytime you show up to a week and don't win, because that's obviously the goal, and that's what you're prepping and preparing for. And I think after just a little bit of reflection, if you have a close call and you've played really well during a week, you can at least realize that your game's in a good spot and take that momentum into an upcoming week.
What was your hardest loss?
Ever?
Yeah.
Probably the U.S. Amateur when I was, in 2011.
Really crap?
Mm-hmm.
And you, and last one, because Jack kind of brought this up as well. Have you find yourself learning, whatever that means, more from a loss or from a win?
It depends on the loss or win. I mean, I think you can get a lot out of winning, and you can get a lot out of some close calls. Depends on your perspective.
All right. Thanks, Patrick.
All right.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck this week.
What was